Today I bring you all here to discuss a special man. I'm going to talk about his views, life experiences, and effects upon society. A man that has completely changed the political discourse in our country. He is by no means gone, however, he did end his presidential campaign a few days ago. And I'm here to discuss the greatest president who never was, a man who spent his entire life fighting for his values. To describe this man is to go back to one day that explains it all. That day is August 12th, 1963, and some students are performing a sit-in at the University of Chicago in protest of university segregation. The police began arresting the various people involved in the protest, and one man you might recognize today was among those arrested was a young man from Brooklyn named Bernie Sanders. Fast forward a few weeks, the famous March on Washington occurred. And through the thousands of photos taken that day, there are some with a familiar face on it. Bernie Sanders. He has been there since the very beginning, from a poor Jewish immigrant to a son to a candidate for president. His life has changed quite drastically. However, his ideology is not. The self-proclaimed democratic socialist has been just that throughout the decades, with his populist economic views and rather libertarian social views seemed rather radical at the time, and even today his views are becoming the mainstream of American politics. From winning his first election as mayor of Burlington with 10 votes above the rest, he has remained one of the most consistent people throughout recent times. People have called this man a radical. Even if my opinion is incorrect, I think he's a moderate, and everyone else is radical. He has explained throughout his various campaigns how the Democratic Party and ultimately America is shifting away from its FDR roots and gone towards settling for some Clintonian neoliberalism. And that is what should be remembered of this man. Even as his campaign comes to an end, he has reminded everyone in the Democratic Party that we need to go back to our roots, and that the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party of the working class and not the party of weakness and bending over for Wall Street and astray from the neoliberal political policies that dominate the party over recent decades. He will be remembered in the likes of Jesse Jackson and Ross Perot. It is too bad the voters and the media have prevented another FDR and settled for a questionable Dukakis or another John Kerry. This is a man who has brought many issues to the forefront of politics and that have been ignored for recent decades. The Chomsky-like critiques of modern media, which, by the way, I recommend reading Manufacturing Consent. I'm in the middle of it right now. It's pretty good. And at any rate, he brought to light the issue of corruption in our modern system. Whether or not Democratic Party is bought, the fact that some other candidates take money from Big Pharma really puts us into question where their loyalty lies. Bernie Sanders did that, not win this election, but he did. His ideas won. The Democratic Party is now pretending to be Bernie Sanders to get votes, which is sad that people believe him. But anyway, he has gained actual support and his ideas have won over the youth. The future is Bernie Sanders, and that's all that matters. And that's what matters to him, because he is not there for political gain. He ran on his ideas, goals, plans for a future. Bernie Sanders has changed the party, and though evil has won this election, evil will not last forever. A Bernie Sanders bumper sticker represents more than a person. He is an ideological movement. His ideas will shape our future for years to come if the Democratic Party doesn't self-destruct in the meantime. This election cycle will lead to the wrong man becoming nominee. The Democratic nominee of the past, the nominee of evil. And hopefully his name will not be forgotten. Hopefully someone else's will. I will end my rant on an experience. The day is August 28th, 2019. I ate Waffle House for the first time on my way to Louisville. As I enter the city on the freeway, you see two works of graffiti. One of them says Green New Deal and a future to believe in. The other one says commie, which is okay. And that depicts our politics perfectly, filled with hate and vitriol. At any rate, as we enter the city and turn onto the road where the event is, we are stuck in traffic with a couple of thousand people trying to find parking. As we wait in line for 2 hours, we finally get to see him speak. Bernie Sanders. It is 95 degrees. I was in the first row. He's a little bit sweaty because he had just got done walking with a protest line with some local unions. Quite noble. As he speaks, you can see the pain of everyone there go away. As he puts relief in the air and he doesn't attack people, he spends an hour explaining how his ideas can be implemented and how they will save some lives. And on this speech, as the speech comes to a close, he comes over and spends a good 30 minutes shaking hundreds of people's hands. And that is who Bernie Sanders is. And will be remembered as a man of the people, a man before his time. And I'm sad to see his campaign end, but during the time period before the nomination was stolen from him was the greatest amount of hope I had ever experienced.